You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy of my praise. Elaburu ife o, ọ̀rọ̀mọ ní ṣàfàyà tí o, arán ní ìbánilọ. You are worthy. Ọba tó gbà mí là o, aláwọ̀ iná o, ìwọ nìkan ló kó yẹ o. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy. Ìwọ ló ní àtọ́lá. Ìwọ ṣe pé mo wá fi fún ọ. You are worthy. Ẹlẹ́bi ìlú ti bàbá. Bàbá àwọn bàbá. Lion of the tribe of Judah. King in his majesty. Ruler of the universe. I tremble at your feet. Lion of the tribe of Judah, King in his majesty, ruler of the universe, worthy of the world. Ìjọba lórí gbogbo ayé, iṣẹ́ ayé, iṣẹ́ ẹ̀mí ẹ̀dá gbogbo, olórí àgbẹ̀yìn, olórí ọ̀rọ̀, ìwọ tó darí ayé àtọ̀pọ̀, ìwọ tó dá oorun tó ní dúró, ọ̀pọ̀ kí ọ̀rọ̀ tó dáyé àgbà, tí pálá gbogbo ayé, òkè àtìlẹ̀ mi, gbogbo ọlá, ọlọ́lá tó ga jùlọ, ọlọ́rọ̀ tó pọ̀ jùlọ, ológo tó ga jùlọ, you are worthy. Ọdún gbogbo ọba lọ, ìjọba níbi gbogbo lórí ayé, nísàlẹ̀ ilẹ̀, aláìnípẹ̀, ìwà bàbá mẹ́ta lọ́kàn, àjùlọ tó ń bẹ níbi gbogbo ẹ̀dá ìwà, ará ọ̀run mọ́rin, ará ayé rí lọ ti sàlẹ̀ ilẹ̀ wọ́n mọ̀ ọ́ dá, àmọ̀dájú ẹ̀dá gbogbo, inú ẹ̀mí àtàrà ńlá ti mọ̀ ọ́, ìwọ nìkan lọ́pẹ́ yẹ mọ̀, ó ń bọ̀ ní wọ́n ṣe bí àwòrán, ọjọ́ ọ̀run àtayé pẹ̀lú ara ọ̀dọ́, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi àdìsá ìjìnlọ́lá, owó ṣùgbọ́n àkókò kàbàlẹ̀. Ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ògo àárín ògo, olóhùn kan mú ògo ìrẹ̀yìn ògo, ẹni tí kò bá yẹ yóò padà wà mọ́. Kábíyèsí, ó ṣe kábíyèsí, ará ayé kọ́ba ní kábíyèsí. Wọ́n ní kọ́lẹ́pá lórí kí bàtà pẹ́lẹ́sẹ̀ o, ìwọ nìkan ní kábíyèsí. A ò gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé kábíyèsí lórí. A ò gbọ́dọ̀ pé ìbàtà pẹ́lẹ́sẹ̀ láíláí. Ṣadé ká ò mọ̀gbà tó lé sórí ẹ̀. Ṣé bàtà ká ò mọ̀gbà tó wẹ̀sẹ̀? Alágbára kí lánà ẹnì kan ò mọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọn ò gbogbo àwọn tọ̀ọ̀rọ̀ júbà o. Ìwọ nìkan ni wọ́n kọ́ o. Kí ló wá ṣe mí ṣàyè? Kí ni yóò ṣe tí n ò fi máa bọ̀? Láì fà padà pé máa rí òde. Bá o, bá o, ọ̀sẹ̀ mi pàdé lọ. Àṣàdá àkọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀mí gbogbo èèyàn. Ẹni tó lè mọ̀ ọ̀pá kan ò bá lè. Ọba ní kẹ̀sí lórí ìlú. Ọ̀dà tó dáadáa síra ọ̀dà ìlú. Mo ní ẹ̀ ara ọ̀dọ̀
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, class. Good evening, Sister Vivienne. Good evening, Laura. Good evening, Sister Bubaka. Good evening, Sister Fola. Nice having you on platform. If you're joining us as our normal routine, please help us to click the like button, or you dislike the video. Help us to like the button so that we'll have confidence of yours on the platform. Today, we're going to give an opportunity of calling in if you feel like calling. Our number is on the live chat, which is 620-586-038. And if you like, you can also drop your question on the live chat for us to answer any question which you have encountered during your studies. And the purpose of having us on this live video is to be able to coordinate all our students around the world. And if you have anything you think you want to ask me in the few hours we're going to run this live video. This is live video. Remember, it's live video. That's why we are saying you can call him for you to have your live answer to your questions. And don't let us take it for granted, because it's very, very important. It's an opportunity of having me at your doorstep live to be able to solve some of the problem which many students encounter. Today, I'm going to run some questions which were placed on our class page, which as some of our students posted yesterday or today, which we're going to run on this show. And today I'm going to explain the second maneuver which we did in our class during the week, and I'm going to re-explain because that's how we always do the routine. And I'm going to solve some question which any student can place down, and I'm going to talk about some 3 areas where question might likely come out in exam this month for those that are going for exam this month. And again, I'm going to use an opportunity of having the next class dedicated for those that are doing exam this month also, and it's very, very important for us to maximize the opportunity of having me live this way. So I believe you prepare your question down. You can always run your question on the live chat. If you can call in, if you're using the same video to call in, you can call in. You can always run your question so that when I finish my own explanation, I can be able to go to your question and try to see how I can solve this hop. And let's try to invite friends or anyone, because today I'm not placing it on Facebook. You can place it on your own Facebook. You can share the link if you feel like. It's free of charge. But now I'm going to talk about the chapter 4 in our book, which is unit 4 in the new book, which talks about the second maneuver. You know, last time I explained the first maneuver, and remember in our class online, and we run the second maneuver on voice chats. And for benefit of people that were watching us live, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us after the live video, if you want to be our student, you can call us on 620-586-038. We are available to explain as much thing, and we're making it real on the street. The street is really feeling our impact, positive impact of us, and the street is really enjoying making it easy. On our platform, we're making it easy. We are making it easy. Is meant for us to share with friends and tell people that it's possible with us, and we make it possible at your convenience. You can give excuse of your job. You can give excuse of your time. Again, we make it real, whereby you can be able to listen to lecture anytime, and you have us 24 hours to ask your question if you care to. And remember that our fee and our means of payment is really easy, and we make it real now. Thank you very much for being on this platform. So I'm going to talk about the maneuver chapter 4. What we explained about maneuver last time, and we said maneuver is anything I did with my car on the roadway, any driving pattern I make with my car on the roadway. Now, the maneuver second is going to talk about the change of direction, how you change direction. Remember that you change direction when the road sign permits you to do so. So the first thing you have to check on the road, does the road permit you? Remember, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to talk about sign, or possibly next week, I'm going to talk about sign, because we're going to explain sign. Sign, without sign, maneuver is not complete. So someone has to understand the sign and get the maneuver. And now, if you're turning left, according to the book, our book, which we use in the school, if you're turning left, he said, if the road is just one direction flow, you have to keep on the left. But if the road is 2 direction flow, whereby you have maybe 2 lanes for your own direction and 1 lane for coming, you have to stay at the center in order to turn to the left side. But if you're turning to the right, remember you have to be on the right lane, which is very, very important. And other thing which was explained is how can I make a U-turn? What is U-turn consist? The U-turn consists of you continuous moving on the same highway and making a travel in opposite way, like 180 degree. You make it up. That is the U-turn stuff. And when you are carrying out U-turn, you have to think of three things. What are the three things you check? Whether the sign prohibits you. The two, whether you check the traffic permits you, or you check the condition of the road. Does the road permit you to be able to make that U-turn? Because it's very, 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 very important. And where you are permitted to make U-turn, you have to understand. Where you are not permitted to make U-turn, you have to understand. And the other thing about the reversing. What is reversing? Reversing is you going backward movement. That is, as a general rule, traveling in reversing is prohibited. You cannot reverse as a general law. Somebody say you cannot reverse as a general law. Why do they put reverse gear in the car? Good. They place reverse gear in the car because of two cases. That means traveling in reverse is only permitted in two cases. When you go to the exam, you have to have it in mind that apart from these two cases, traveling in reverse is not permitted. The first case is if you cannot go forward, you cannot change direction, you cannot make U-turn. Now you may reverse. Remember that when you're reversing, the more you enter that road, like you enter a kind of closed street, and you cannot change direction, you cannot make a U-turn. You have to reverse as much as you enter. That is why it is not measurable. When you enter into a dead end, your reversing is not measurable. So in case you are asked an exam, when you enter in dead end, how long can you reverse? Is according to distance necessary, because the more you enter, the more you're going to reverse. And remember, if a question comes exam and says, if you can change direction, if you can make a U-turn, you must not reverse. So since you can make a U-turn, you can reverse. So you have to understand, if the question says where you cannot make a U-turn, that is why you can reverse. The second one is when the reversing is making a kind of complementary maneuver. What are the complementary maneuver? Like stopping, parking, or you are joining traffic. For example, you park in a way. Most time when we park in a shopping complex, shopping mall, we park in a way whereby we need to reverse to come out. In that case, when you're reversing to come out, you can't reverse more than 15 meters. And you cannot invade junction. Invading junction is joining a cross section of traffic. So you cannot invade junction. You cannot reverse more than 15 meters. That is when it forms a maneuver, which is stopping or parking, complementary maneuver, which is stopping or parking. That is, in case in exam, when they say your car is parked, how long can you reverse? Good, 15 meters. Or can you invade junction? No. That is that. But if you enter a no-through road where you cannot change direction or turn, that's the first one, you can reverse as long as you enter, which minimum distance possible. And you can invade junction in that area because that one permits you to do that. So I explained one thing at the early stage of maneuver last week, and I explained to us that the sequence which you have to follow when you want to carry out maneuver is RIM, the rear view mirror indication, and the maneuver, which is 1, the observation, or you observe; 2, you notify your intention, which is indicating, and the third one is the maneuver. You carry it out slowly. If possible, you are careful, you warn your intention of doing that. What is immobilization? Immobilization is when your vehicle does not move again. Something happens to your car and your car is being parked up on the roadway. You cannot move. So you can have a kind of voluntary immobilization. You can have involuntary. Voluntary means the ones you did by yourself. For example, you park to receive phone call. Is a voluntary kind of. Involuntary are the ones you don't plan for. Something happens to your engine and you tend to stop on the highway. That is involuntary, which is permitted anywhere. But remember that voluntary is the one you did by yourself, which might not be permitted on some road also. So that is it. So what is parking and what is stopping? Remember, parking is you stationarize your vehicle, you are out of the vehicle, or you are in the vehicle more than 2 minutes. But what is stopping? Stopping is you are still in the vehicle less than 2 minutes, but you didn't put up the engine, you're there, you are less than 2 minutes, is considered as parking. So there's difference between parking and stopping. Remember, I said stopping is when you are still in a vehicle less than 2 minutes. So, and areas where you can stop and you can park. Remember that motorway and dual carriageways does not permit voluntary parking or stopping, but involuntary, it happens due to emergency, you are permitted. And there are area where you can do parking and stopping on motorway and dual carriageway. What is motorway? Motorway is the autopista, dual carriageway is the autovia. So you can park in the rest place or service area. Apart from rest area or service area, you cannot park on motorway and dual carriageway. At shoulder, central reservation area, they are just for involuntary emergency kind of parking. Remember, on conventional road or built up area, we park on the hard shoulder or area suitable for parking. In town and including the true road at the major road in a built up area, we can park on the right or on the left. It depends on the direction all the way. Now, if you have a one-way road, that means all the road has a one direction. You can park on both sides, left and right. This question comes in exam. Where can you park on one-way road? You can park on both sides. But on two-way road, one going, one coming. On two-way road, you have to park on the right side. That is the right side, is the lane, is the side of the hard shoulder closer to your direction of traffic. So when you have two-way road, you don't park on both sides. You have to park on the side to your direction of traffic, which is very important, which you need to get through. Another thing on the maneuver 2 is that they explain some area where stopping is not permitted. Remember, on a bend with reduced visibility, inside a tunnel, on a level crossing, on a lane reserved for bus, you can park up at a junction or near a junction, on a tram track, on a place sign posted for live track, on a motorway and dual carriageway, which I explained before, on a public bus lane, you can park and you can stop, or area reserved for bicycle, or an area exclusively sign posted for people with reduced mobility, that is the handicap. Now we have no parking and no stopping. The circular red with cross 2, no parking, no stopping. The circular red with one stripes like this is no parking, which can permit me to stop in that area. Remember, we have 3 types of parking positioning of your vehicle. We have the battery parking, which is always straight, like the most time we have in the shopping complex. We have the diagonal parking, which are always slant, and we have the inline parking, which are just straight kind of parking, body park behind each other. And again, you remember that when you're traveling or you're driving and you park your vehicle, why did you lock it? Why did you put it off? You put it off for the unauthorized person to use it. Remember, this question comes in exam. The reason why you turn off your car, you remove the key and you lock the car to ensure that unauthorized person is using the car, and you pull off your handbrake. Your handbrake is very, very important when you park on a kind of flat ground. Handbrake is very important. But when you park on a slope, upward slope, remember, you put the car on gear 1 with the handbrake. When you park on downward slope, you put the car on reverse gear with the handbrake. But when you have some kind of lorry or trailer behind you that you attach, you apply the curb style of it, turning your wheel to the curb when you are upward hill, driving your curb outside when you are downward hill. And it is forbidden for you to open your door when the car is still on motion, and you must make sure always you come out from the curb side of the road, the curb side, the closest to the curb side, not on the right always. Because in the question in exam, they said, where must you come out from the vehicle? They say, hey, on the right, C, on the B, on the left, and C, on the side closest to the curb. The answer is closest to the curb, because if you go and pick right, it might not be correct. So you pick the side closest to the curb. Now, how can you signal your emergency on the roadway? You signal your emergency on the roadway by putting hazard lights. Hazard warning signal, which is your triangle, and it must be at least 50 meters minimum visible in 100 meters for the person who is coming. And you call for the help, which is the help number is 112, which you have to. And it is important for you to call the towing vehicle. The vehicle that can tow you off from the major road, which is the highway, should be a towing vehicle. But remember, in a public area, in a built-up area, you can use other vehicle to just convey, to tow away, so that you can't block a public road, but you can tow for far. So this is not permitted on a motorway and dual carriageway. So I think I run the topic for maneuver. Now, any question from anyone? But before any question, I go into one question that a student of ours asked on our platform in the class, which on test driving theory test 2, number 22. The question the student asked was, when several motorcycles are traveling in group, it is advisable that the less experienced driver, the one that has a less experience, or the one that has drive a motorcycle that is lesser engine, remember, should always situated in the leading group, should be the one leading. Have that theory in mind. Anyone who is not professional among them should be the one at the front, so that in case anything happens, the professional that are coming behind will be able to pick him up. So note that in exam, the lesser one or the smaller engine will always be at the front, can't be at the back. You have to be at the front, so that the other ones that are coming behind will be able to solve the problem with you. So it can be found on annex at the end part on subheading 457 of our book, which this will explain better to us. And today I think I run some questions for the students in the class, and if you have anyone, you can always pick points, your number, or which number the exam test hates, which I just brought the correction some few minutes before this live video. So if the floor is open to any student who have any question to ask. If you have any question to ask, please. And this is very important for those that are having exam this month and next month. It's very important. It's very important for you to maximize this opportunity which we are having on live video. So any question from anyone, any question, the floor is open. Any question. If you're watching us, I said, please like the video, or you encourage us for us to do better. So it's very important for us to know. So how can you save fuel? How can you save fuel? There are a lot of methods you can save fuel. If a question comes up in exam on how can you save fuel, now what you need to do is that you don't look at the objectives that are there. How can you save fuel? One, you save fuel by not just revoluting your vehicle anyhow. Two, you use the normal octane of fuel which you have to use. B, another one is you try to make sure that you don't wind down. When you don't wind down, you use lesser fuel also, because when you wind down, air is trapped in the vehicle and causes you to use more fuel. Another thing is that you maintain your vehicle always. Other thing is that you have to drive in an economic pattern of driving. That means you just don't drive and start raising your vehicle anyhow to drive. So those are theories which relate to a pattern of saving fuel, which is economic driving. It now depends on the objective you have on the question, which is very important. So you have to just understand that it has to do with economic driving, your pattern of driving, and the kind of system you apply in driving. So if you look at the objective which are placed in that question would determine which one is the right answer there, because you save fuel. If you look our book in chapter 14 of our book, where we have the economic driving in chapter 14, you will see where they explain so much on how you save fuel from subheading 382. Now that is for people that are having the new book, the end part of it, they explain good measure of saving fuel and the wrong measure of saving fuel, which you should understand. Any other question? Any other question from anyone? Any other question? So this question: if you park your vehicle, how must you place it? If you park your vehicle, it depends on how you park. Now, when you are just explained that when you park your vehicle on a normal level ground, you use only the handbrake. But when you park your vehicle on a slopey hill, ascending or ascend hill, that means you're climbing, you parked on a slope that goes upward, you have to park and use your gear 1. You use parking brake and gear 1. But when you park downward slope, you use the handbrake and you use the reverse gear, which is very important. So just have it in exam when they said you have on a slope. You just have to ask yourself, which kind of slope is it? A downward slope or upward slope? So when it's upward slope, remember that generally you must put a parking brake, whether on any slope or on any flat ground. But if it's on a flat ground, you only need the handbrake. Most people, they park on a flat ground, handbrake and gear. It is wrong. You use only the handbrake. When you park on a flat ground, you don't need the gear to engage it. Any other question from any student? Any other question from any student? Any other question from any student? Any other question from us? Any other question? Any other question? Any other question from us? Any other question? If you have any question to ask on those tests I said we did yesterday, we did today, I just posted the answer. You can also always ask on number 1 or number 4. You don't need to write them, so that it will be easier. It will be easier for you to get across to me. So it's very, very important. And I think how should you act if you are forced to make an emergency stop? If you are forced to make an emergency stop, you have to use brake, and you use brake in a way that it will be safe for you. You have to use your brake in a way that it will be safe for you. An emergency stop, you have to use your brake. You use your brake in an area. Emergency stop, you mean. And again, you have to signal it when you stop emergency in an area which be due to an emergency. You have to signal it by your hazard warning light. If it's at night, you use, or any reduced visibility, you use your position light also, and you come down to put up your emergency warning triangle rightly, which is at least 50 meters, and on the right direction. So it's very, very important. Very important. Very important. Any other question? Any other question? Any other question from the house? Any other question? Any other question? Okay. Thank you. Any other question? Question said, if your leg brake fail, how do you stop the vehicle? If your the foot brake fails, you notice the foot brake is called the service brake also in exam. In case if it breaks, how will you react to this? That takes us to the action on brake failure. Reaction on brake failure. So the reaction on brake failure is very, very important. How do we react when we witness a brake failure? When we witness a brake failure, what you need to do is that I'm driving my car and I press my brake, it fails. The first thing you should do is to try to calm down. You just calm down. You remove your leg from the throttle. Remove your leg from the throttle, which is accelerator, and you try to apply the parking brake, which is the handbrake, gently. And in the process of applying it, maybe the cable cuts and the car still continue. What you need to do, you are using what we call, you're reducing the gear, which is called the engine braking. In the process of doing engine braking also, and the engine braking does not even hook the vehicle in that area, you look for the last resort by scrubbing your car to the edge of the path of the road. So that is the only remedy you can do. But the remedy has a procedure, and the procedure is you follow up the sequence which I explained to us. Those are the recommendations which you apply when you notice a brake failure. So the first thing is that you remove your leg from the accelerator, which I explained. You apply the engine braking, which is by reducing your gear. The second one is that you get closer to the right side of the roadway, which is your edge of the road, and you start applying your handbrake gently. In that process, if that too fails, you're now going to the last resort by scrubbing your side to the event. So, for the benefit of people that are having the whole book, you can get this in subheading 369 of your book. 369. It comes in exam. 369, and for new people, new book, you get it on unit 13 or unit 14. The end part, which talks about the grip, tire, and the brake. The grip, tire, and the brake. But Peter, I think your book should be subheading 13 or 14, where they have grip, tire, and the brake. The last part of it that explain the problem with brakes. The problem with brakes, so you can get it. But the old people can get their own in subheading 369. 369. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for responding, Barbara Peter. And a question comes again, says, what is monotonous routes? This question comes in exam, and they said they use it as a word in the exam and asking you monotonous route. Monotonous route is a kind of route that gets you carried away. Now, what is it relating to? It's relating to you driving on a road and you are seeing the same thing for longer hours. For example, I'm traveling from Madrid to Valencia, and from a portion in Cuenca to Albacete for good 1 hour, I will just be seeing a kind of sunflower. For 30 minutes, I'm driving on the highway and I'm seeing the same thing. It's as if I'm not moving. If you've been driving before or you've traveled on the bus, you will notice this thing I'm telling you. You get pissed off and you get like, they stopped. The road is monotonous. You are having the same thing and it gets you pissed off. So the road is monotonous. So that is what we have to. You've seen the same thing for hours, and it gets you tired, it gets you pissed off on the roadway. So the road is monotonous routes, kind of monotonous routes. So it's found mostly on motorway and dual carriageway. Found mostly on motorway and dual carriageway. So good. So, but they don't ask that what is monotonous route. They only put it like on driving on a monotonous route, or where can we find monotonous route? I said motorway and dual carriageway are the areas where you can get it. In a built-up area, what happens is that we have different shops. When you're driving inside the built-up area, it's different shop, pan shop, jewelry shop, there's clothing shops, and everybody gets get used to the scene in the built-up area, so you don't get monotonous. So any other question from us? Any other question, please? If you still have, I'm still saying, if you have any question on the test we did today, you can also just pick point number 4, number 5, number 6, so that I can just make some proper explanation to us. And I said I'm going to hint some area of attention to us today on this platform, which is very, very important. So I'm coming. So for the benefit of those that are using the whole book, for the benefit of those that are using the old book, I'm going to just give you the clue of areas where we can have that. But just pick up your pen so that you can be able to just pick some likely area of attention, area where you have to like make some study from the manual, from the book. So if I were you, I'll just pick a jotter and a pen and pick points, subheading, which I'm going to call for people that are using the old book, and for people that are using the new book, I'm going to tell you actually the area where you just need to go to. So you that are using the new book, you have to just be able to write more, like what I'm going to do now. So I will be going into the new book to be able to explain to us likely areas which we are going to. Now, I think I should be typing it also so that it will help the people. Subheading of attention, as I said, the first one is subheading 81, which is very important. Subheading 81, and subheading 81 can be found in maneuver 1. When for the new people that are for maneuver 1, which is found on unit 3, I think unit 3 of your book, talking about the behavior of vehicle being overtaken, behavior of your vehicle. So on unit 3, you can get that. The second one is on subheading 335. 335. Let me just 335 is found on unit 11 or unit 12 on the new book, which is talking about the visibility and the danger of the road. Visibility and the danger of the road. Towards the middle part of that, your subheading, 11 or 12, which is visibility, and the danger of the road. We get what I'm talking about. That is the characteristics of the mirror. This place explains the characteristics of the mirror, how the mirror is, what is the blind spot, and how do you check your mirror always. The third one here is subheading 224. 224. Subheading 224. Subheading 224 are called in the whole textbook, and subheading 224, sorry, it's not, I just want to like pick on 224 is found on sign, where you have the blue sign, the obligation, which I'm going to teach this week, the blue sign obligation. That is circular blue, where you have the chapter, I think chapter 8 or unit 8 on sign. You have it at the vertical sign style area, where you need to like get it clear. Now the other one is on subheading 102. 102 from the old book. 102 from the old book. 102 from the old book. And in the new book, you are going to have that on your maneuver, which I just explained now. Or maneuver, the end part of the maneuver 2, which I think should be your chapter unit 4 or unit 3, the end of maneuver 2. The end of maneuver 2, explaining the part of the highway where stopping and parking is prohibited. We're stopping. What I'm doing now is to give you some area of attention in this November and December exam. So you have to give area. So if you study then, and you can get back to the class online to ask any question that is not clear for you. And the fifth one, which will be the last one, which I'm going to give here today, is the 264. The 264 subheading from the old one. 264 is still talking about the road sign. The last part of the road sign, which is your chapter unit 18, talking about the marking, the road marking, the 10 parts of your road sign. The end part of your road sign might be unit 8 on your book, and it's very important for you to. Those 5 areas are the assignment for the weekend, which I want you to read. And when you read during the weekend tomorrow, you can ask your question direct from the class on the page, and I'll be able to explain anything relating. A lot of question comes from there in exam also, and it's very important for you to get that. I think from next week, I've been trying to study the new book very well, so that we can be able to quote rightly. It has a unit, so that I'll be able to help to balance up things for the new book and the old book. So very good. So any other question from anybody? Any other question? I'm still on the platform to answer any question. And remember, encourage people on the street. That it is not right to go and pay someone to do exam for you. You can do it, no matter how long it's going to take you to have it. There are a lot of people. Let me just tell you, there are a lot of people that has lost their resident because they did exam malpractices. And don't let them encourage you, because most people, they want you to be like them because they fall into the same sin. So they don't encourage. If anybody does not encourage you to get your license, it means that the person does not know the value of a driver's license. It is very important. We are getting into an age. We're getting into a period where you have to acquire it. It is not a kind of a thing for fashion. It is a necessity which you need to your job, your private job, your public job. You need it for your movement, for you to be conducive in driving. You need it. Now, another question comes from a student, says, why is Gear 1 and Gear 2 give more strength to the vehicle? Very good question. For example, let me relate this. If you have a car that has Gear 1, Gear 2, Gear 3, Gear 4, Gear 5. For example, for people that are driving, Gear 1 and Gear 2 are more powerful. Why are they more powerful? Because you only use them to climb hill. You use them to climb mountain. You use them to climb ascending road. Without them, you can't climb, because you need power, strength to climb the hill. But remember, GR5 and GR4, they have speed, but they don't have strength. They have speed, but they don't have strength. So when you are driving on highway with GR5 with speed, you don't have strength. That's why when anything happens, the car is right off. But when you're climbing hill or you're driving in snow, you need highest GR possible. In snow, you need highest GR possible, which is GR2 or GR3. Because if you use GR1, because the strength is too powerful, your tire will be rolling in the snow. So when the question comes in the exam, what GR must you use in ice or snow? You use highest GR possible, which is GR2 or GR3. You don't use 1 because 1 is too strengthened, but it does not have speed. But GR5 have speed, but does not have strength. Did I explain your question very well with this illustration? Madam, if I explain it with illustration, please, I want you to thumb up and let us know that you're clear with it. Clear. So any other question from you? Thank you. Any other question? I saw some people, they came in and they just came to register online and they went back. It's very, very important for us to understand the benefit of this. I brought it on Saturday because we voted it on Saturday. You know, we always have it on Friday before, but because I realized that so I think I'm still going to ask students again that which time do they want? Which time do they want? Because it's very, very important for me to have students live, so that the purpose of it is to have you live, and to explain this. So I think I'm still coming back class to ask, when did people want live? I'm available when you want live. I'll come on live, but because it's very important for you to call in, very important for me to fine tune what I'm teaching. It's just like you having me in a class so that I can be able to explain very good, very well to you. And again, in exam, if you go to exam, remember that you might tend to meet this question. I want to just show you the picture. Look at this. You see this two? It's found on sign. Look at this two. This one and this one. This one and this one. So when you have this, for people with the whole textbook is 258, but the new textbook is you have it on unit 8, which is sign. Towards the end part of the sign, you have this 150 meters without arrow. What differentiate the distance is the arrow. When you have it without arrow, it's telling you danger to where, length to where the dangerous part begins. But when you have it with arrow, telling you how long the danger will extend, how long it will be. So with the arrow in exam, how long it will be, and without arrow, telling you length to the beginning of that dangerous end. Are we clear? So any other question? I'm having like minutes to receive question from us. Any question from the house? If you're not having any question, I'm going to call it a day. But if any question comes on board, I'm ready to explain. Any question from us? Any question from the house? Any question from the house? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question from us? I'm still waiting. If you're not having any question, I think the student wants us to call it a day tonight. And if you watch this video and you want to be a student, you're free to call us on 620-586-038. We really appreciate you coming on board. As many that came on board today, we really appreciate you for being there. And we are available to make it real. Thank you, Sister Fola. Thank you. We appreciate everyone. Thank you, Brother Peter. Thank you for those that came on board tonight. And I appreciate everyone. And we'll see you again. We don't keep watching and follow us on our live YouTube page And if you have any question, you can call us on 620-586. And really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Brother Peter. Thank you very much. God bless you as we meet again. Join me next week as we meet. I remain Steve Ade Teller, teacher.